Here's Kevin Nash and what he had to say about Mercedes Mone. So shout out Kevin Nash in the Click This podcast.
Sasha Banks, whatever her name is now.
So instantly.
Sasha Banks, whatever her name is now. Her gear looks like I made it. There's not a semblance of when she comes out that she's the same character. Is worth it. It's like seeing an 88. I'm going to go back. It's like seeing a 1977 Cutlass two-door sedan that had the T-tops, and seeing it now, and you're like, didn't age well. But that's not Sasha Banks. Look at how her fucking outfit's bush. Sasha Banks.
So Kevin Nash just fucking absolutely obliterated her. Now, listen, we put over Mercedes, but god damn, man, he went at her hard, and I don't know what to tell you, man.
Who's this we, Phil?
Yeah, exactly.
You put over Sasha Banks. I put over Mercedes Mone.
And but he's right though. It's like she's trying to be a character that's not even her character. Like she lost the plot somewhere of like thinking she's going to do her gimmick differently. I think I totally. But him going like her gear looks bush. She hasn't even worn gear yet. That's just like her outfits for TV. He just buried it. So
there was that one outfit that Sasha Banks wore, maybe like I think it might have been third Dynamite or whatever. But it was like an all red outfit. It looked exactly like a swimsuit. I was just like, oh, she showed up here in a swimsuit, and he's kind of correct. Like there's nobody really checking her on her fashion sense. Remember, she was going through that little phase where she was like wearing pearls, like it came out of her aunt's closet, and just wearing that dusty pink outfit. Like what's going on with her?
Eric Bischoff continues. So he responded to all the Dax Harwood stuff on his own podcast, and I'd clip it all, but then I'd have to tell you about Henson Razors. And I'd have to sell you some insurance. Make sure you head to savewithphil.com.
Oh, God.
And savewithpwt.com and get you some Blue Chew. I know Mrs. B loves it. I know my wife loves it. And Henson Razors. And we're also sponsored by Manscaped and Blue Chew and Henson Razors. They don't even pay me. They're like, yes, Phil, keep talking about
yes.
This. Yes. So Eric Bischoff says Dax Harwood failed in WWE and hasn't gotten over it. Eric Bischoff says, Dax, you've had your opportunity in WWE. You failed. You didn't get over it. Well, it is what it is. I know it hurts. It doesn't sound nice. It's so cruel, but it's also true. And now he's in AEW. He feels like a bigger fish in a much, much smaller pond where really hardly anybody's over. And I'm not suggesting it's all his fault, but it is what it is. And then Conrad, of course, was like, oh, now come on, Eric. Now come on, Eric. So what are your thoughts on Eric Bischoff's thoughts on Dax there after their little Twitter spat?
This is Eric Bischoff's new grift, by the way. Like he went full. I mean, it's not so much a grift as it is like a realization that he knows, like he's been playing in the middle of the road podcaster for quite a while, and now because he got, Tony got his attention, now he's going to go full force against him and all that. But this is the kind of stuff that, listen, it's the kind of thing that Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, a lot of these guys are doing. Like, we want AEW to succeed. I don't think you do. I think you're trying to play, but you're trying to keep that audience that is just like, we like AEW as well, and we want to hear you say something nice about it. There's not really too much nice to say about AEW for these guys to be so middle of the road. Eric Bischoff used to be like, oh, they got a chance. Now he's just like, oh, they're going to fail, because he knows where the butter is, the bread is buttered.
Where the butter's being churned. Yeah.
Take it from me, my friend. I've seen with my very own eyes the level of people who are now starting to become, realistic towards AEW. And that's not to say that it's because of me at all, but I can't deny the fact that, you know, it's cool to look at AEW in this ultra critical way because they're already 5 years in the game and they haven't done anything. So what are you guys expecting for anything to change? It's not. This whole experiment is over. But I've noticed a lot of podcasters taking that new route. Like, you know what? It isn't all that good. Yeah, dopey. It hasn't been good for 5 years.
Yeah, and that's why PWT is growing, I truly believe, rapidly, because I've shot it straight from day motherfucking one. I do reviews of these shows, and I tell you what's good. I've broken it down spot-wise, character-wise, business-wise, however you want to break it down, man. I've been consistent, and I truly do not want I want there to be another WCW against WWE. I want it so bad. I want it, and AEW was supposed to be that. And I stand till the death of me. And I've been consistent in that. Am I critical of AEW? Yeah, I have been since day one, man. Have been since day one. Am I critical of WWE? Sure, but they've just been rocking and rolling. And that's the other thing that people got to understand. When WWE is doing record business and they're putting on really great stories and TV shows, they're allowed to have lulls where it's forgivable, because they've proved that, like, no, wait till they ramp it up again. If they try to ramp it up and all of a sudden the Bloodline storyline sucks and like fucking Solo's popping ratings now, if that goes away and they're just doing dumb shit and people aren't tuning in for it, I'll call it the fuck out. But that's not the case. They completely have turned everything around, and AEW just seems to have turned the complete other direction. And you guys have heard
they had no other tricks beyond this. They had no other tricks beyond the fact that, you know, they could compete with WWE. When WWE caught fire again, now we're in trouble. What else do we have? We've exhausted all 52 of our playing cards, special announcements, surprise debuts, big events,
lights
dream
go out
matches.
3 times. Lights go out 3 times in one episode of the show. And like this sort of thing. So when they sold us the bill of good, it should be sports-based wrestling. So Brad Becker says it right here. AEW never explains their rules. Exactly, guys. And this is my whole thing. You tell me sports-based wrestling. So what I thought AEW was going to be, and this is what they could start to do if they want to turn it around. Bro, you explain it as a shoot, or you not a shoot, but you explain it in a fucking way where you present it as a sport. You have clear and concise divisions. They never have their divisions are not clear and concise. Tony consistently fucks up the rankings. There doesn't even need to be rankings, but if you're going to do them, at least use them. But then he fucks around and goes, oh no, these rankings are just for the heavyweight title, and now they're not. So it's like, that's dumb. And then CMLL guys come in, and then they get announced in kilos, and then the guy who came out before them is from AEW, and they get announced in pounds. Like, no, just, it's your league. Announce everyone in fucking pounds, and then, this match is under Ring of Honor pure rules, and Eddie Kingston's the New Japan champ fighting the pure on AEW. No, it's you're undermining your own shit. It's your league. Explain your rules. And when people fight on AEW, in AEW, what makes it compelling is that, holy shit, they are going to fight under AEW rules. You can explain that in the commentary. You know, in Mexico and CMLL, or in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're used to the 20-second count out outside of the ring. In AEW, there's only 10 seconds. And in a championship match, it's extended to 15. Or like, except for world title matches, it's 20 seconds on the outside. This could hinder his performance. He better not get counted out. You can explain these things. Tony Khan's supposed to be a stats guy, a statistician and all this shit. It's great. No, motherfucker. Where is that? I want to hear that shit on commentary. I want to hear the commentators going, you know what? John Moxley is a great competitor. When he hits the paradigm shift, he actually finishes 76% of his opponents. So he's going to look for that move early. But what's interesting is when John Moxley gets the paradigm shift reversed, he actually loses 61% of his matches. So Miro's going to look to reverse the paradigm shift. But John Moxley's finished 93% of his opponents with his rear naked choke. So you're going to avoid that at all costs. Like, things like that. Explain, bro, but that's what I'm saying. Make it sports based. Like, if that's what you're gonna do, or make it fucking lights go out, Matt Hardy teleporting. Like, which is it? You got have the weigh-ins, build it that way, do it that way, make it sports based, have them explain why wrestlers don't punch with closed fists and why it's illegal.
What's so funny?
Oh,
it's like everybody's got a certain idea of how AEW should go in like the next 2 or 3 years. And I'm just here to say unequivocally and very clearly, it's all too fucking late. Okay?
I know.
It's all too late. And I hate to be the wet rag of all this, but
no, you're not.
You could change the announce team. You can tell them, give them all the stats in the world. If Sally Soccer Mom and Joe Sixpack do not give a fuck about AEW now, you've got to make them give a fuck about AEW in the next 6 to 8 months, or else the doors will close on you. You will not get a television deal. Sadly, it's all too fucking late.
Yeah, I think they've truly, Tony Khan has backed themselves into just being the new TNA, like the modern TNA. They took TNA slot as that's the number 2. Maybe they'll turn it around one day. We need, if there ever was another billionaire who came in, it'll never happen again, but in our lifetimes. But if there ever was, who got into pro wrestling, man, that's how you present it. I'm going off on a rambling. I've said it a lot of times, but if you explain what makes pro wrestling different than MMA, what makes it different than boxing, and you present it in this sports fashion where it's not just all about the matches, you tell stories and there's a way to do that in sports. They do it in sports all the time. The pre-shows do it all the time. They talk about the defense and what this guy's been lacking and what these guys need to do.
But Phil, this is all content stuff that you're talking about, which is in product. How the hell do you get that promoted to the rest of America? That's the whole thing. Their local promotion is awful.
I know.
They do not send down their big stars to the local TV networks down there.
No house shows. So that they're a TV show. That's the thing. They should do it in a studio because they're just a TV show. They don't do house shows. This isn't even the pro wrestling business. They don't have a training centers anywhere. They're not running indies of AEWs and calling it their house show loop. This is what I thought Tony Khan was going to do. I thought he would start running indies like these little indie shows as the house show loop, and then they could air what happened on these indies on the AEW shows. And then be or if they wanted to, not air the matches, but if an angle happened or what they've been building to. But I thought their house show loops would just be the indie shows that they all used to do on this smaller scale. And I was like, that's fucking genius, because there's more, even if they fill up the roster too, there's so many indie wrestlers doing all these indie dates. So if they use that as their house show loops, no, they didn't do any of that. They ended up making these guys not do indies, which realistically they shouldn't be, but you need some sort of house show loop. You need some sort of training facilities to where you're cultivating.
When they tried the house show loops, I think they got cold feet because they saw that there were many people with their cell phones out, recording all these botches from the women's division and some from FTR. And they I'm not saying that that's the main reason, but that's one of the reasons why I think they were no longer doing the house show loop. They did it for maybe 6 to 8 months back in maybe 2021 or 2022. Maybe the chat knows better than I do, but they had it going on for a few months, and then they just gave up on the idea.
Well, I don't know if it's all just botches. I know, but they, like you said, they don't have good marketing, and it's that Tony thinks that he thinks that all of these matches need to be seen. All of these matches need to be seen. He can't just do it on a house show. I truly believe that. I think he thinks all of these matches need to be on TV if they happen. It needs to be because if it's a house show, the world doesn't see it. I don't know, man. People say he does it for the fans and all that. I don't believe that at all. It's all just his fantasy playing out and for Meltzer and shit, and pats on the back rather, which is fine. But it's just forever TNA that way. And they would do so much better, dude, if they were in just running. I've been watching old ECW, and I tweeted this out. I've been watching old ECW, and man, it's like these shows would be so good if people just sold. I don't know, the backstage promo work, like Rhino back then, even in like 2000, like he was doing awesome shit, honestly, in his backstage promo work. But the smaller buildings, the vibe, the energy, it's like this is what AEW should have been, but instead Tony wants to be able to say he competes with WWE. He's more interested in that than contributing and TV. That's why. Oh, why do we compare the ratings? Because motherfucker, he's only a TV show. This is not the pro wrestling business. It's a TV show, do a pay-per-view. TV show, do a pay-per-view. There's no house show. House shows how you penetrate these markets, how you familiarize audiences in Middle America or wherever the fuck, wherever the fuck Europe, where it costs too much to produce TV out of, and it doesn't make sense for the time slot and all that shit. That's where you cultivate these audiences and make people fans and all of these things, and they're not goddamn doing that in any capacity whatsoever. And that's where it's frustrating. It's not that, oh, WWE does it and you don't do it. It's not about that. It's just about you don't do it whatsoever, and then you compare yourselves, and fucking people wonder why people bring up the TV, because that's all that matters with AEW. That's all that matters, because it's a fucking TV show. They're not doing house shows. They don't have a PC. Not that it even needs a PC. They don't have dojos set up in different states. Like, you know, they're just looking at the indies and signing whoever.
They don't
WWE
have a headquarters. They should be. Exactly. They should be actually wrestlers in AEW. Their job should be Monday through fucking Thursday, from Monday to Wednesday. I think I've said this. Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. You should be at some warehouse somewhere. Yes, some headquarters in Jacksonville every day, checking in, because this is where you're going to make most of your money. Actually, motherfucker, yes. You're going to be working to get better. So these are training
3
sessions.
hours a day, 5 days a week, minimum.
5 hours a day. Exactly.
5 hours a day, sure, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then you just go through the Dynamite.
A minimum set of hours they have to hit per day, 4 or 5 days a week. The facilities are open. They can pick which 4 days, like make it easy for them. They're already not working as it is. Like, you know what I mean? So this is an idea, Tony, like, listen, I'm saying this in great faith. Like, why would I even spend my time, and why would Awful even waste his time if he didn't care a little bit, or someone could learn from this? And
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but I'm just saying, like, God damn it, this is what should be weekend, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, it should have been happening from the jump. I mean, I don't know why this should be this should be implemented by the end of this weekend. It's easily can be done.
That's
doesn't
the thing.
The guy has a stadium, doesn't he? You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some. Yeah, really. If you're listening, Tony, keep me blocked. And also take heed to this free advice. It actually doesn't cost you one more penny to construct a ring in the corner of one of the Jacksonville Stadium or whatever, and have these guys show up in Florida, hook them up in the hotel room. From Monday to Thursday, you'll be working. Wednesday's live night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, you have time off for your families. But yeah, you're going to be working. This is the new grind of AEW. See in Jacksonville. That's how I would do it.
We embrace the grind here on PWT. AEW's lack of advertisement and desire to bring in a new audience is telling of their attitude. AEW only wants to appease its base. It doesn't care about new people. AEW doesn't want you. Oh, man. So
that last sentence, though. Incredible.
Yeah, dude. So let's break this down. This is a great comment here. Let's break this down. AEW's lack of advertisement and desire to bring in a new audience is telling of their attitude. AEW only wants to appease its base. That's all we've been saying. That's all I've been saying for a year on this pod, on this live shows. It doesn't care about new people. Exactly. AEW doesn't want you. And the weirdness of the overly bottish NPC tribalistic fan base on that side, which is much more prevalent than the AEW fans. Like, AEW fans will be the first ones. WWE fans. WWE fans will be the first ones to criticize WWE shit. I notice, at least the good accounts that I follow that enjoy WWE, they can also be critical of it. And AEW, not so much. But that's what I always say: making excuses, coping, seething. That shit is not going to help. Being critical It's like Gordon Ramsay, bro. If he just walks into the restaurants that he's helping on fucking Kitchen Nightmares, oh no, you're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. It's perfect. I'm just an asshole. You know, like if he went there and didn't yell and be like, no, you bloody doorknob, it's raw. Like if he didn't do that,
Right.
the shit wouldn't get better. It wouldn't. If
Right.
John Taft walk into bars and go, no, you dumb fuck, that'll get them sick. If they didn't do that, no one would fix their shit. So that's why
Tony Khan obviously never played sports. He was never coached
exactly
in any sort of high level sports endeavor, from golf to tennis to cricket to soccer. Name the sport. He had to wrestling. I mean, you would easily develop a thick skin and get over some of the issues that are plaguing the AEW right now. But because the top guy, the guy on television with the neck brace, because he has no idea how to be coached, how to be reined in, how to be taught effectively, this is what you're going to get. And
fans get pushed away by the people online, like in the IWC as well, who just cope constantly or try and they're just so focused on WWE and all this shit, and it really, really drives people away. Now, you're
giving the AEW fans. I just have to comment. You're giving the AEW fans online a lot of credit. No one gives a fuck about the AEW fan attacking pro WWE fans at all or anything like that. That is an insular, like that's almost taking place in a vacuum when it comes to the real world. AEW's biggest problem has nothing to do with its fans. AEW's biggest problem has everything to do with its marketing, promotion, and ownership.
Right. Here's the thing, though. Everybody brings up the core fan base, and I do believe, though I might disagree with you or push back on what you're saying a little bit, is that their fans a lot of times, okay, so people trust that I'm going to shoot it straight, okay? And if I go, dude, someone should really check this out, I think, or like there might be people in the chat right now who actually are like, fuck, I'll put Dynamite on because Phil's watch. I want to watch what, like, even though people say you're negative or whatever, if you really listen to the content and enjoy it, you know that, like, I just try and shoot it straight down the line. And sometimes I'll work a little bit to try and, get things over. But you guys know where I'm coming from. And then I think that helps their audience go, fuck, I'll throw it on and give it a chance. Right. Whereas you go on the IWC and there's guys with like 11K, 20K followers who are just coping, seething, making excuses, being so utterly like lowering WWE to raise AEW, and things like that. And you don't think that turns maybe like a regular, like you remember like Kat Dennings tweeted, oh, I love SummerSlam. Then all these people are like, look at AEW. And then she just doesn't tweet about wrestling anymore because it probably turned her off entirely. So I do believe, Michael Dodd, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, man. You're the shit. I do believe
it
that
turned her off to tweeting about WWE.
I know, but like that's a fun thing that people want to do. You don't think she wants to watch SummerSlam, tweet about it and shit? You know what I mean, dude? So that's what I mean. Like,
I'm sure she does.
And like, you don't think like her, if she was genuinely into AEW, if she's like tweeting about it wouldn't get people into it. That's all I'm saying is that like, even me in a genuine way, I think I help in a better way than some of their toxic fans, like real one. He's not convincing people to go watch AEW, but I am, because I'm going to watch this shit. Edge just speared a dude through a table. This match has actually been pretty goddamn good, and I do like Brody King and Edge. We're not giving it its flowers because we're ranting and raving, but it should get its flowers. But exactly, guys, like, go watch this shit. I think I encourage more people to genuinely check out the product. And I do think that audience in the IWC, even though Twitter doesn't matter, it's not real, like Max Caster says, I do think some of them turn people off of even wanting to check it out or give it a chance because they're so goddamn shitty. But you may disagree with that, but I think it does have an effect. Their fan base does have an effect, I
think it just makes people who watch wrestling change their mind about watching AEW as religiously as they would with anything else. Possibly with like they're not going to watch it with the same sort of excitement as they would watch Raw or SmackDown or anything like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like those are already in-house wrestling fans who are already online. AEW can't attract people in Middle America or even much of America. So there we have it. You're not going to be able to penetrate those people. Your IWC fans are not going to affect those people.
HQ is the Jag Stadium. Move it to St. Louis. I know, but that doesn't even count. That's the Jags' headquarters. That ain't AEW fucking headquarters, bro. Tony Khan has never been told no. No, he's just been told that this is great. This is so great. Haha. And yeah, dude, he's never thoroughly criticized.
He's being told no right now. He's being told right by the American audience, like, no, we're not going to watch this shit.